Hello, welcome to Being Reintegrated. I'm right now. I'm working on a book called The Divine Gatherings, and what we're essentially doing is going over the material of the Green Book, Liebe Vert, but I'm doing a commentary on it and a little bit of an exposition from the other Cohen. So you're learning material that you normally wouldn't learn. Um, no, I'm really grateful for all of your guys' efforts. We have purchases of books through Kim Publishing, and we have the subsidizing of the entire effort here by the Patreon. And then also, what we're doing with all this income, just so you know, is putting it into an investment strategy. So, I came from the world of investment banking, and I am doing this now full time. So, your patronage of purchasing books and subscribing to the Patreon is amazing. We're doing a revolutionary thing right now, which is full-time Cohen study, and we have a publishing arm, a video promotion arm, and even the Order de Cohen's Resuscite, which you can email at resurrectedcohens@gmail.com. Um, which what we're doing is we're incorporating a lot of the French masonry. So I speak with all kinds of people, but I talked with some of those who were irregular in creating French Masonic structures, and we found that during all grade progressions, degree progressions, that the French have an amazing thing called the presentation of architecture. And so we've incorporated that into the Order de Cohen's Resuscite. Everybody has to do architecture, including yours truly. So I'm doing architecture on the Divine Gatherings, looking at the dynamics here and going through Cohen literature again and again and again to make sure that all my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed and I know what I'm talking about, and then presenting to you through the Patreon and through the Elu Cohen Research Channel. And now, through your successful patronage, thank you so much for picking them up. But we got the book sales that are working to fund the bigger arm, which is the investment banking. And this is so we don't have to charge our members monthly dues. Because it's a research group. You're already buying books. You're already studying this stuff. You're pouring out a lot of energy. We don't charge you monthly dues or subscription costs. If you like the Patreon, if you want to know more, if you're inspired to do so, subscribe. I'm not going to be like, mash the like button, go to see my updates whenever I give you a video, buy every single book. Although that's all appreciated, eventually we're getting out of that model by your dedication and basic friendship and love and care and support, because the investment banking arm is allowing me to put everything into an investment. So it'll get larger and larger through strategic investing, which I may even give a class on that for, magicians wanting to use their sovereignty to break out of this place of being a worker in the world of 9 to 5 jobs and always feeling like it's destroyed. Now, why am I talking about this? Because that's what Divine Gatherings is about. We are broaching the subject of human relations and social psychology. So basically what happens is that in the Green Book, there's an exercise, a ritual that's done, which is a like ritual of a round table, so to speak. It promotes equanimity and it ordains you into a specific kind of egregore, which is the 144,000. You become, now I know we're going to get controversial, so thanks for your subscriptions, your help, and everything. We're going into the realm of what's called the Elohimic reintegration. We're regenerating humanity so they can do what the Isia talks about in their theurgy as the Elohimic reintegration. Now, they do this through a theurgy and a prayer cycle. But what I'm showing in this book is that it's a lot more complicated than that. So it's an evolution of the Isia, which is dead, but it's an evolution of that. It's a working out of what Villermoz originally was proposing through the RER and all the Grand Profess and all the stuff. I mean, I'm a researcher, so there's probably not an area that I haven't researched. I know that sounds arrogant, and that's why it's so important to do this work for you all, is that, I'm not just some armchair guy who's come into this thing by buying all the public books. I've been part of these organizations. I've talked to the heads of these groups. I'm in regular conversation with the French Illuminists. I've built the material that you're reading off of actual work. The 3-volume series of George Quartz is just, bar none, the very best that you can get in Green Book studies. But I don't know. A lot of people haven't taken the time or energy or care or concern or copyrights. I don't know what it is. But Kim Publishing is a beast all of its own. So, we will do things that other people won't do, including you're going to see a commentary in the brand new Divine Gatherings book, an analysis of pretty much all of the structure of Elukoan ritual through the subtle hints of the commentary on the Lyon's lessons by Antoine Favre. I mean, we're really doing an effort here to restore human beings to their natural divine rights. So I'll go down there, and then we will bring up the PDF so I can show you some diagrams. And here we go. We've gone there, and now we have the diagram. So this is the bottom of the universal table. Typically what happens is in the universal table, you see a bunch of stuff, but it doesn't make it clear. So what I'm trying to do is make it clear for everyone. Since I can make these books now, publish them, give them to you to purchase, we're in a position now to really be able to help the Cohen grow past just translations of a general nature from library materials. I mean, that is part of the Fournier commentary. At the back of the book, you'll see 4127, which Amadou believed was the continuation of Fournier's treatise. But the book, The Simple Initiate, is not just another translation. What it is it's an analysis, a page-by-page analysis, very similar to Saint Martin's Errors in Truth, where each page has a topic. Well, we have an English translation that is very readable, done by an unknown emulator who donated that. You can see that on the Cohen Codex. But also, we have that translation which was used in English to do the analysis of the page-by-page commentary that is the Simple Initiate, which everybody's been buying. So thank you so much for picking that up. At the end is 4127, which hasn't even been, I haven't even done the work. So if you bought the book and you read it and you understand all this stuff, just go ahead and do it. Or join the Order des Cohens Ressuscités and present that as your architecture to advance to the next degree. Anyway, so if you've gone through the rites, actually the rite of the Elukoan, very similar to the Scottish rite. All of the degrees in the Cohen add up to a rite. And so in the degrees, you'll go through a dramatic presentation. Now, I'm not going to release everything, but at one point, your upward pointed triangle turns into a downward pointed triangle. And that is what this is. In the system, they talk about the spirits of central axis fire that develop the three matras, M-A-T-R-A-S. And they're kind of like the alchemical substances. You can see the salt, the sulfur, and the mercury, but they're not. What they are is they're very similar to the Hindu Rajic, Sattvic, and Tamasic natures of the disposition and temperament of the individual. So you can see that that is the downward pointed triangle. And you see there's an upward pointed triangle. Now, it's very easy to confuse this upward pointed triangle with the original upward pointing triangle of the right. And this is what I did. I did it for many, many years. That, okay, all the yellow colon is on this vertical axis and everything being talked about is on the vertical. That's not true. It's actually the dynamics of what happens when the vertical human being falls to the horizontal social interaction. So you have self and other that you're dealing with. What happens is a new center is created. So out of this new center, which is created from the downward pointed passive triangle, it uses the upward pointing active triangle, but still in the horizontal plane, to be able to manifest these three matras in its upward pointed triangle representation. Now, this was super confusing to me because I thought that it was the everything was on the vertical, so that's where all these numbers happen. And it wasn't until in the red book I read a section that is titled, or not titled, but it's number 2. Where is it? I want to keep everything together. It's number 296. 296. It says, you have to distinguish 6 from 4. They are two things. And so it points to an upward and a downward pointed triangle. And the original manuscript in the Celesme manuscript, I haven't looked at Amadou's chart in the back of the Atlantis Journal to see whether or not 296 is part of the Celesme or Lyons, but I can. It's just not important for this lecture. Anyway, in the manuscript, they show an image. Now, in the popular versions of the Red Book, that image was never demarcated. It's only when the unknown translator added the images from the manuscript that was used that we found out that when talking about the 6 and the 4, it also includes an upward and a downward pointed triangle. Well, this is where I figured out that the 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 does not continue in the diagram of the 6. That is the 4. It's one thing. That's the vertical. The vertical axis cannot be destroyed. The 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is always there, and that is encompassed in your center, so we call it. But when the center was tampered with, which you'll see in the right, it's been going on ever since the Thori manuscript, which is released to everybody. It's just not contextualized. So when the center is tampered with through the temptation of the center and the right, and the blue band is what we call it, then you'll see what happens is there's a creation of a new center. Now, that wouldn't be enough to indicate where the center is, but this is what it is you're creating a bottom passive triangle of the active elements of the 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. So none of the arithmosophy experts have figured this out. that when they talk about the 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6, they're not talking about the same 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10. That is an amazing presentation that we're doing in the Divine Gatherings book. And that's my research. That's my architecture. I don't think anybody's figured this out. And if they have, they're not telling anyone about it. So this is not like secret order stuff of your secret order that you secretly know. They don't know what I'm telling you right now. You're learning something that not even the experts who gave you all your certs, all of your rituals, all of your walkthroughs, they don't know it. They don't know it. And that's why I'm doing this work. And that's why I really appreciate you buying the books and doing the Patreon, because we're teaching something. I'm, through my architecture, I don't know, break it down if you can. You probably can't, but break it down if you can, and not talk bad about me. You know, I mean, okay, I'm a crazy former investment banker. Yeah, now what do you want to talk about? The Cohen, that's what we want to talk about. So we've moved into this area where we can have this understanding based on the Red Book that has been translated now, and we can see that the 4 and the 6 are different things. So in the right, you'll see that this creation, this temptation, I won't give everything away, but if you know it, you know it. You've seen it many times, is created. And Heva is created, and this is the lower triangle. Now, what I've created for you is the 3 circles of man in Jung's quaternary diagram here. You're seeing something that hasn't been shown, revealed, or expressed, pretty much. I mean, they'll pretend they know, but no one knew this. You'll see the diagram right here, and I think it's called the quaternary rotundra or something. Anyway, you'll see this diagram in Jung, C.G. Jung's Ion, where he talked about the dynamics of the psyche. So I've utilized this and taken away the elemental attributions so you don't get confused, because it's easy to get confused with this stuff, and put in it the 3 circles of man. So in it is the 3 circles of man in the diagram, very much like you'll see in Secret Instructions, which is a Cohen chief explanation of these dynamics as you're going through the horizontal. They don't show you the horizontal and vertical, which is why I created this diagram. Brand new to this book, Divine Gatherings, which I'm showing you the architecture. And you'll see the diagram has these points. These are the north, south, east, and west. But in the Cohen, which you'll read through George Quartz if you've done your homework, the center of the 3 circles of man is known as the east and the heart. So you'll see in this diagram there's 2 points where the center goes through it. You can't see in my cursor, but I'm showing it. The 2 points where the center goes through, in the center of the 3 circles, is the center that's created in the 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, ending up in the center circle as the W in Elu Cohen writes. This is the axis of central fire, the central axis of fire, which Favre talks about in his commentary on the Lessons of Leon. Again, the experts who tell you about the Lessons of Leon, they don't know this stuff. They'll watch my video, refute me, and then say, I don't know what I'm talking about because, I'm doing my homework here. So the central axis fire is right here as it goes through to the active triangle. So that is what's accessed, and I've diagrammed here. This is copyright Kim Publishing. But you'll see what was called the tourbillon in Moni Sadhu's work on the tarot. You'll see that there is an axis that goes through the center here, that I created a spiral that goes through the W in the top and in the bottom. And this is the Hermetic dictum: that which is above is like that which is below. So you're seeing the spiral of energy. Call it Kundalini, call it the central channel, call it the middle pillar. You can call it whatever you want, as long as you don't mistake it for something that it's not. And so this diagram is one of the most complicated diagrams, showing you the phenomenological processes that happen in Elu Cohen Wright. So we made that. And this is something I learned from the registry of the 2400. So the registry of the 2400 has additional material on the back of it, and it tells you how to understand most of this stuff. When I was reading through Serge Callier, I found 4123, which was translated, but 4123 was not completely translated. What we find is that Amadou did an annotated version, which I believe one of my friends in a compassionate and companionate order did, but they didn't translate the rest of it. So 4123 says essentially that the numbers are not on the vertical, that they're horizontal creations. And this is what Saint Martin says pretty much in the Treatise of Benedictions. That's why I couldn't figure it out. The numbers are not all on one vertical plane. You have the 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, then the number system stops there. Then you have the 4 created beings, which are on the horizontal, that created this 3 circles of man kind of experience. So I show you a little bit of that diagram there. And so that is a presentation of the diagrams in Divine Gathering. So I'm going to get rid of my window here. Goodbye, window. And then we're going to come all the way back up to full size high again. So I'm so happy that we have this work that we can present. And I'm not afraid to tell you the truth. You know, go and take this into your lodge. Take this into your order. Tell them the truth. And the truth will set everyone free.